By the way, we got to get into this LeBron thing.
Yes.
Because I'm over this. I'm not here for this anymore. I understand that there are people who don't like LeBron James. I'm totally down with that. I am one of them.
Sure.
I am not a LeBron James fan. I respect the hell out of LeBron James and what he's doing and what he's done in his career. Am I a fan of him in particular? I am not in any way, shape, or form. But I respect him. What happened in Boston the other night was absolutely egregious. There's no explanation for the fact that his arm was hacked in front of two officials who on tape are looking right at the play, and they just don't blow the whistle. It's not the first or the second or the third. It's the fourth time the Lakers have not gotten a call that has cost them a game. They're tied with time expiring the other night. LeBron James drives to the basket, gets fouled, no call, time expires. They go to overtime and lose to Boston, where if you blow the whistle, LeBron's going to make a free throw and the Lakers are going to win the game. And I just don't understand what is going on with officials in the NBA that these calls continue to, not just the Lakers, across the league. Obvious calls are not being made. And it's the tweak that the NFL made. The only way I see fixing this officials thing is you have to allow a replay official on the side or in New York to stop the game and correct the situation. That's the only thing that I can see. The problem is the NBA moves so much more quickly than the NFL. There's not time between plays generally. It's very difficult to go back and correct that. What should have happened in that situation the other night in Boston with LeBron and the Lakers, they should have stopped the game and reviewed the play. And New York should have said that was a foul. LeBron goes to the line and shoots two.
Yeah.
But they didn't do that. And then they compounded their mistake, in my opinion, by immediately issuing an apology and an admittance that the officials got it wrong.
Yeah.
But here's the other problem. Was anybody fired for that? Will anybody lose their job for that? No, they won't. There are no repercussions to NFL or NBA officials blowing calls like that are keeping the premier player in the NBA and the premier franchise in the NBA out of the postseason. Because if those four calls had been made and the Lakers won those 4 games, they'd be in a playoff spot right now. Instead, they're 2 games out of a playoff spot, likely 3 after tonight, because what do you know? Most of their guys, including LeBron and Anthony Davis, will not play for the Lakers tonight in Brooklyn, Jake. And I just think it's absolutely a travesty what is going on with the Lakers and the NBA officials right now.
Yeah, so there's multiple issues with this, right? Where I agree, you should have an official in New York or somebody with the ability to stop the game and make the correct call, even when the incorrect call has been made. That's number one. Number two, we need to talk about the challenge system. I'm tired of there only being one challenge. I'm not saying head coaches should have 15 challenges. What I am saying, though, is if you challenge and you get that challenge right, you should get your challenge back. Now, to me, this whole situation where you have all these obvious calls being missed, it's bad for the league. Not because it's the Lakers, not because it's the Celtics, not because it's any particular guy or team. But think about it. Take LeBron and the Lakers losing out of it. If they make that call and send LeBron to the line, how does the league lose? Hear me out. LeBron makes both free throws or even makes one free throw. Lakers win the game, good for the league, right? Oh, LeBron was clutch. He's Mr. Everything. He outdueled Tatum again, right? Okay, you send LeBron to the line, he misses both. They lose the game, right? They go to OT, they lose the game. Oh, LeBron's not clutch. Like, he choked. Like, Tatum outdueled him. That's good for the league. So this isn't a LeBron issue, even though it kind of is, right? He's been a victim of this for most of the season. This is a league-wide issue. It is crushing the league. And to me, it's such an obvious fix. You should be able, and I know, I agree with you, hey, the NBA is a very fast sport. You don't get those breaks. You don't have 40 seconds between every play. But to me, that's kind of a cop-out even on its own because you tell me we can't innovate, we can't come up with a system that allows, like in baseball, right? Remember how when the whole, hey, the manager's going to put his hand up and he's going to look back at Buddy checking the screen. That wasn't a thing in baseball, but now it is. And now I get to see dude signaling, hey, put the headphones on, right? So that's what I'm saying. Like, the NBA has to fix this because it's bad for the league, not because it's bad for Bron, even though it is. Yeah. Right? It's bad for the league. It has to get fixed.
Yeah, and I think the only way to fix this is to terminate officials. I don't know how else you explain this, because coming out of the Tim Donaghy situation several years ago where, he essentially wound up in prison for, taking money to fix NBA games, and then he came out and openly talked about how the league influences the way referees call games. Now it appears that the NBA is trying to screw LeBron and the Lakers. That's the only A to B straight line that you can draw, because when you look at such an obvious, egregious foul not being called, and then you immediately issue an apology, it's just not good enough anymore. This is, oh, hey, thoughts and prayers.
Seriously.
It's not good enough anymore. You have to take action. And again, I know you don't like it, but the truth is, the NBA needs the Lakers to make the playoffs. The NBA needs the Knicks to make the playoffs, the Celtics to make the playoffs. Now, I think it's perfectly fine if the Jazz, if the Memphis Grizzlies, the Denver Nuggets, the smaller teams in the NBA and smaller markets win championships. Portland, Oklahoma City. I think that's perfectly fine. But you need your premier franchises, the Bulls, to be good in those major markets, because that's how you make your money. You get bigger TV audiences. Do you think the NFL this morning isn't thrilled to have Kansas City and Philadelphia?
Facts.
I got news for you. They're thrilled about that. Those are great TV markets. The NBA is not getting that because you're not blowing the whistle when LeBron James gets so clearly hacked. And the other thing is, I'm not here for this LeBron hate. I don't understand it.
Yeah.
You don't have to like him. You don't have to like that he's hopped around, but you have to respect him. And if you don't respect LeBron, like I did a big battle with Josh Lovren on Twitter last night. Like I tweet about how the NBA blew this call, and his answer is, oh, well, you're going to just ignore the blatant travel? What has that got to do with the fact that he was clearly fouled on a play that's routinely called a foul, and you want to go back to him traveling, which he did not, to which you go and tweet age-old gifs of LeBron traveling? It's like the blatant disrespect of LeBron James shows who you are as an NBA fan.
Yeah.
If you don't understand that traveling is just not called in this league, I don't know what to tell you about that. It's holding in the NFL, man. You could call traveling on every single possession. They don't.
You know what's funny about that, too? Inside of this conversation, the league this year has made it a priority to start calling traveling more, right? So you're seeing, like, the guy who still has his dribble, who he's holding the ball, he's making pivot moves and stuff. They're calling traveling on that all the time now. And to me, on this LeBron play, going and talking about traveling is just inexcusable because it's inconsequential.
Yeah.
There's no point to it.
Yes.
Like, in my opinion, he didn't travel. If you don't know what a zero step is, if you don't know what that means in the NBA, you don't watch NBA basketball, because that is a play-in and play-out thing that they don't call. It's widely accepted what the zero step is and how it works in the league. And what really bothers me is the point you made. Hey, there's two officials right in front of this play. It's you're looking right at it, like right to you, and you're telling me that, okay, maybe you didn't see it. You're telling me you didn't hear that? Because that was not a half-hearted
There's
swing.
an official. I'm like watching the replay.
He's
There is
right
an
there.
official right there looking at it. And the other official has an even better, because it's LeBron's arm is fully extended, and it's Jayson Tatum. He got fouled twice on that. Brogdon hacked him across the hand, and then Tatum comes from behind him, and I mean, fully just hits him right in the forearm, and the ball hit, like he loses control of the ball. No whistle.
Because he was fouled.
Man,
Like,
I just can't believe that they didn't call that.
that's my problem. And that's why I say, like, I don't disagree with your point about how, hey, like in the NFL, you have 40 seconds. Like, like we saw it yesterday. We saw it yesterday with the Jalen Hurts or Buddy up the sideline on the long, can't remember his name off the top of my head. In the Eagles game, early in the game, Dude makes that great catch, that one-handed catch on, I think it was on 4th down, and he gets up and he runs to the line so they can snap the ball. You don't have that dynamic in the NBA.
No.
So you have to have somebody. I would prefer, my preference would be in person, because you need to be able to feel it. You need to be able to see it. You need to be able to say, hey, it's Lakers in Boston. It's Bron. It's Tatum. There was how much ever time left in that moment. I think like 5 seconds or whatever. Yeah, we're going to need to review this one. And I don't know what's the protocol on that, because...
But the coach's challenge is one of the biggest things. Like,
yes,
you cannot take somebody's timeout and their challenge. If they win that challenge, they don't get another. If they lose that challenge, they don't get another one. If you win that challenge, you should absolutely get your timeout back, and you should absolutely have another challenge. Like,
yes.
It just doesn't make any sense that you're blowing a call. How do you not review that? How does the NBA in New York not say, "Hey, man, that's a foul. We got to look at that"?
Yeah.
I don't
And
get it.
by the way, if we're not sure if it's a foul or not, we still should look at it, because, it decides the game.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's what
dude.
I'm saying. Like, this isn't a Bron issue. It's not.
It's
like,
an integrity of the game issue.
Yes.
And it's close. By the way, the other thing is, I think it is incredibly compelling how close the NBA is right now. If you look at the standings, if the Lakers get those 4 calls, and they are just simply the one I'm thinking about is the out of bounds play. And I want to say, what was it, the Kings game? They lost the Kings game. I think it was in the Kings game at Crypto, where one of the Kings clearly stepped out of bounds. They didn't call it.
Yeah.
They just didn't call it. And it leads to a swing that gets, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And now you see that they're in Boston. With the game on the line, you lose the game. And then Pat Beverly loses his mind and brings a camera on the court.
Okay, but can I just say, that was an all-time troll job of the officials, dude.
But you can't have that guy on your team.
Well,
because he does stuff like that. I'm not here to troll officials. I'm here to win games. And the fact that Patrick Beverly got that technical was really stupid. Really, really stupid.
Yeah.
Like, it just...
Was LeBron's reaction over the top?
No. Because this is the other thing that I think is hysterical. People are like, oh, he's acting. Do you understand where this guy is in his career? This guy's at the end of his career. And he is the best player in the NBA right now. I don't even think it's close. He has been the best player this season in the NBA. Playing at a career high, the stuff LeBron is doing is amazing. And he knows he doesn't have an endless amount of time. He's not a 20-year-old Cleveland Cavalier anymore.
Yeah.
This guy's a 79-year-old freaking AARP member.
Yes.
Who's balling out. You go on the road and you win at Boston. Do you know what that does for your team? Do you understand the confidence level that puts in your team so that when Austin Reeves gets back, you're in a better place to win games?
What does it do for the league? This is my point. You're in Boston. It's Bron. It's the Lakers. It's ESPN doing all these great pieces before the game about heritage in the league and memory.
Yeah.
It's everything you would want as an NBA fan, only to be robbed of a result at the end. Because again, I'm not saying, I'm not advocating for this because LeBron is some huge victim and he's robbed and his career's on the line. Even though all of that's true, that's not my why. My why is because it's crappy for the league.
Yes.
And not that the viewer matters, but it's also crappy for the viewer, which is me.
But the other thing is, you can complain about officials every single night in this league. Mm-hmm. They're not traditionally terrible officials. I still don't maintain that on a nightly basis, officials lose teams' games every single night. But just about every single night. Now it's happening, right? I am just not a guy who believes in bitching at the umpire or complaining about the NBA or the NFL not calling holding. Officials don't generally lose you games. The NBA is quickly pushing past this limit now, where the officials are blowing calls on a regular basis. There was that block the other. Who was that had the Jazz block the other night? It was clearly a goaltending. and they didn't call it.
Yeah.
Like the ball is on the rim. You knock the ball off the rim. Like, how do you not see that? That's your job. Like, you're not making the basic foul call.
Yeah.
You're not doing the, like the other night in Memphis, they just didn't start the clock and nobody corrected it. And Memphis got like 3 extra seconds. They just don't go back and correct it. How's that possible? They don't go back and check. I don't remember what game that was. It might have been Kyle Kuzma, in fact, that had his foot on the 3-point line. They gave him a 3. Didn't go back and correct it. It's garden variety basic stuff where when your foot's on the line, they are supposed to spot check every 3-point shot. They didn't correct it.
Yeah.
This Jaren Jackson controversy in Memphis, where Jaren Jackson is supposedly getting blocks and steals that never happened. Now, the NBA, of course, came out and said, we reviewed every single play and it's been scored accurately. But boy, I got to tell you, I went back and looked at some of the video people are putting out, and there was one block that he got credited for. He wasn't anywhere near it. And now we have to wonder, is Jaren Jackson actually the defensive player of the year? Or is Memphis inflating their statistics to get him to be defensive player of the year?
Do you think there's any credence to, hey, the league controls officials to get certain results? And I'm not saying from a gambling perspective. I'm saying I don't believe Adam Silver wakes up and says, all right, well, hey, the Lakers are -3 in Boston.
Well, let me look at the slate of games today. We really need Boston to win this game, so don't call fouls at the end of the game. Swallow the whistle.
I don't believe that. I do think there is some credence to the idea that the NBA talks to its officials and says, hey, this is the storyline we're working right now. I do believe that there's credence to that.
Carrying.
Yes.
Like they are calling carrying now. It is like one of the NBAs I talked to the other night said it's why guys like LaMelo Ball are not in a hurry to get back because he palms the ball every single time. Do you know what palming is? Where you turn your hand over like this. When you're trying to do a crossover, you'll turn your hand over.
It's the Allen Iverson
That's
thing.
now being called a carry in this league. And LaMelo does it all the time. It happens every night in this league. But now they're calling it's a point of emphasis, right? So they do that to impact certain players. You'll notice that the points of emphasis are called unless your name's John Morant and you're going to dunk on it. Like there will be nights where they won't call it because this or that. Yeah. That happens in this league all the time. I don't believe for a second that Adam Silver's like, hey, Lakers are a game out. We're going to go ahead and need to get them into the playoffs. I don't believe that happens.
No.
I just don't believe. Why didn't they get help last year? Why aren't they getting help this
points
year?
Thing, the all-time scoring record, perfect example, right? Like, so if you're somebody who believes that the league is fixing games, let's say, or that Adam Silver is colluding or working with the NBA officiating team to get certain results, then how does this happen? How does Bron getting fouled, not getting called happen? That's why I say I don't believe Adam Silver wakes up and is like, oh, well, hey, betting lines or this or that. Like what I think happens, though, is I think they look at the schedule and like, okay, it's Lakers Boston. So we want to have a tight game. We would like it to be a bit physical. So maybe swallow the whistle here and there, right? Like, let's not be so aggressive with the whistle. So notice it's not super specific. We're not saying we're not blowing the whistle on Bron. We're just saying let these guys play a little bit. And so to me, if that is indeed the case, because again, I don't know if it is or not, but based on what I see, that kind of makes me feel like it is. If that's the case, the LeBron thing makes sense, right? Like some of these other things make sense. They want, in big games of consequence, they want it to be physical. They want shades of, early 2000s, late 90s basketball where you've got some hard fouls. You've got, big contact in the paint. Like they want shades of that stuff. And I get it. It's Lakers Celtics. I understand. But I just, for the integrity of the game, for the quality of the game, for just straight enjoyment of the game, you can't have that happening, especially when it's LeBron.
The funny thing is, though, like an NBA guy I know is texting me saying, hey, they just want Jeannie Buss to sell the Lakers because she's an uncooperative owner. They want Jeannie Buss to sell the Lakers, so they're not going to help the Lakers. And I don't know that I believe that.
But it's certainly possible.
Oh, it's certainly, I think it is absolutely possible. It is absolutely possible that they manufactured a sale of the Clippers, that they did everything they could do to get Bobby Sarver to sell. They've been trying to get Robert Sarver out of the league for a decade.
Yeah.
Like, they pounce on certain situations. Jeannie Buss isn't putting animals into people's offices to prove a point. Right. Which is what Robert Sarver did. She's not a misogynist or anti-male and sexually harassing people and making a hostile work environment.
Yeah.
She's not doing that. She's not. So it's hard for them to force the Buss family to sell. But if you buy into that conspiracy theory, and I'm not necessarily sure I do, I can see why they're not getting those calls.
Infowars.com.
You know, this is not new that the Lakers, and LeBron specifically, LeBron does not get a lot of calls, man.
No.
Like, he does not routinely get a lot of calls.
But
and
that's what I'm saying. It doesn't work both ways, though, right? Like, everyone hit for the longest time, for as long as I can remember, people have always said, well, the league doesn't reward physical guys, meaning the league is not going to blow the whistle for you if you're someone that likes to create the contact, right? Where Bron has been that guy. Bron has been, I'm 6'9", 260 pounds. I'm just going to go through you on my way to the basket. And he's been uber successful doing that. The problem now is, though, they're not blowing the whistle for him. And I'm not certainly sitting here saying that somehow his career is built on getting that foul call. But the reality is, and you look at guys like Ja, you look at Luka. These guys, James Harden. Oh, my God. James Harden in Houston, even now, the master at getting guys to reach just enough so they can swing up through their arms and get the whistle. You're happy to blow the whistle on that, but you won't blow the whistle on Jayson Tatum. Like, that's the issue.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. I've also heard the Kobe conspiracies. That once Kobe passed, the Lakers lost leverage. The Lakers didn't matter as much. I see, and I think that makes a lot of sense because Kobe was a reason a lot of people wanted to play there.
Yeah.
Kobe spending time with you was a reason to go play in LA. You look at Devin Booker. He's a perfect example of this. Why does Devin Booker want to be a Laker? Because he loves Kobe. And it makes a lot of sense to me. I don't know. I think that Jeannie Buss is doing a terrible job helming that organization.
100%.
I would agree with that. Or I should say Linda Rambis is doing a terrible job running the Lakers because she's the one that supposedly has the influence. But I don't know how you explain the NBA officials just not making calls. And it's an everyday epidemic. Like, I don't know how you explain it, man. I truly don't know. Let's get some of your comments in here because I see a lot of you in on this. Brett Burnett says a challenge system should be for each timeout. NBA has many timeouts, but at least they make money while doing advertising. Well, you're not going to take all their timeouts away. You're not going to do that. Brother says Plessy's only 117 career points until Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
That's what I'm saying, dude. Like, if the league was
reset
like,
that.
So my point on the scoring thing is that if you're somebody who is like, oh, Adam Silver wakes up and looks at some lines and says, this is how we're going to officiate each individual game, right? Wouldn't it be better for the league to help LeBron? Well, yeah, but that's not what's happening. So I don't believe that, right? I don't believe that that's what's going on.
Well, if he's 4 games away, because this is part of this.
Right, that's what they're saying. He's about
He's
4 games away.
4 games away. So let's call it 4 games.
Yeah.
They're on a road trip now. That would put him in New Orleans breaking the record because he's not going to play tonight, which makes sense because what does that mean? That Tuesday, February 7th against Oklahoma City, there's a good chance he breaks the record. Why aren't we going to that game?
I don't know.
Dude, can you imagine being at that game? I think part of the reason that they're going to manage his load is because I think he wants to break that at crypto. And I don't disagree with him. Why wouldn't you break that at home?
Yeah. And I also think that this whole concept of, the league missing calls, my biggest issue is not that it's Bron, right? My biggest issue is that it's horrible for the game itself. And the crime in it is that, hey, it is LeBron. It is, every modern day kid's Michael Jordan. Let's be real.
And they have a ton of games on national TV. You think the NBA is not pissed tonight that you're not getting KD versus LeBron in Brooklyn?
Yeah.
You think the NBA is
What
any
is
happier
the
that you're
stat?
not getting Kyrie against LeBron and Anthony Davis? Because Anthony Davis and LeBron James, amongst a host of Lakers, are not playing tonight in Brooklyn. And guess where it's being televised? NBA TV. So NBA TV is going to suffer because your East Coast primetime game sucks now.
Yeah.
Because Lakers in Brooklyn isn't Lakers in Brooklyn. And then you notice that where are they playing tomorrow night? Where are the Lakers playing tomorrow night? The Garden against the Knicks on TNT. You think LeBron wants to play at the Garden? I'm going to say he does.
Facial recognition.
Yeah, I'm going to say he wants facial recognition. I think they're going to play. But this is the problem for the league. Do you want NBA TV to have the game or do you want TNT to have the game? Because he's not going to play in both of them.
And don't tell me that this officiating thing doesn't alienate Bron and make him cold-blooded when it comes to the schedule. Don't tell me he doesn't look at this thing.
Absolutely.
Don't tell me he doesn't look at this thing. Don't tell me Bron doesn't wake up in his hotel room or at his crib in LA and say, oh yeah, we've got, what's the next home game for them? OKC, is it?
Next Tuesday.
Oh, we have OKC at Crypto? Yeah, we're going to give Josh Giddey the goods. Definitely.
Bro,
Like, come
I would.
on,
You
man.
want, we should think about going.
Come
to the
on,
game.
man.
I don't even
Come
go to
on.
the game, dude. I would love to go to the game. But
Yeah.
anyway, the point is, I think LeBron wants to win this game or break that record at home with his family and friends in attendance at Crypto.com Arena.
Doesn't it have shades of all the things Kobe did at Staples?
It does.
Right? Like it's the Shaq story of Shaq saying, Kobe, hey, can you get me 60 in your final game? And then Buddy goes out and does what he does. Like it just is, it's right that Bron would break the record at Crypto. The building, the fan base, they deserve it. They do. But the NBA thinks otherwise.
The Lakers are integrally important. They're integral to the success of the NBA.
And I think you make the best point. You can like or hate LeBron. You can like or hate the Los Angeles Lakers. The reality is they're the Los Angeles Lakers, and there's no getting away from it. It just is what it is.
Yeah. You know what? I don't know, man. There's a big conversation in the comments right now about people's inability to tag others in comments. I think the only way you can tag people is if you're on a desktop. I don't think you can tag people in YouTube comments on your phone. I could be wrong about that. I see a ton of you commenting. Please hit the like button. If all 180 of you watching the program would do that, that'd be amazing. Jordan Wheeler says, so what is the deal that Jazz have, or is this just clickbait again?
What are you talking about, dude? See, you come in here every day. This is so you. You're Mr. Hater guy, and I have no problem battling you on it. Like you're add who is this? Jordan Wheeler to the list of guys that rolls up into the show and says, "Oh, clickbait." We're not clickbait, dude. We've been
Show's 2.5 hours
like,
deep, bro.
Like maybe show up when the show starts and you'll get exactly what you want, right? Like, hey, go back to the 7 o'clock hour. Listen to what did we spend, an hour?
We spent an hour on this, 50 minutes.
Don't come
50
in
minutes.
here late after you finally decided to wake up and get your cup of coffee and say that we're clickbaiting. Come on, dude.
Man.
Come on
Come
now.
on, man. Hey, don't forget that monster trucks are coming to the Maverick Center.
Monster trucks, monster value. The all-star monster trucks return to the Maverick Center February 10th and 11th. Affordable fun for the whole family, plus a free pit party before each show. Get tickets now at MaverickCenter.com.
I know a lot of people have asked me about tickets for that. We're working on it. It's a huge show. It's a great show. If you haven't gone to MaverickCenter.com to look at the schedule of events, like we walked in the building this morning at 4:45 or whenever it was, the Stars floor is back down. So the Grizzlies sweep the Rapid City Rush over the weekend. And now the Stars are going to be back here at Maverick Center. There is a ton of stuff. And it's been a great year. Like, you have Maverick Center coming, gymnastics coming to the Maverick Center, monster trucks, WWE. Like, it's crazy how much stuff, how many events they're putting into the Maverick Center. So we are working on that, but get your tickets to monster trucks right now at MaverickCenter.com. This hour of the show is brought to you by Barbecue Pit Stop, BBQPitstop.com. Shop any of their 5 Utah locations because they're just good guys to do business with. We say that about all of our people, but that's why we do business with the people we do business with, because they're local business owners, entrepreneurs that are trying to kick ass. Help them do that. Go to bbqpitstop.com or see any of their 5 Utah locations from Logan, Layton, Lehigh, the GZ, and St. George. Of course, our good friends on State Street in Murray at Barbecue Pit Stop. You hear that name, you think of the best equipment, whether it's Traeger, Yoder, Big Green Egg, Camp Chef. You want a pizza oven, you name it, they've got it. Tongs. But I'm telling you, go get the Asado seasoning with your Traeger grill because that's how we roll up in the crib. Well worth it. This hour of the program brought to you by our good friends at Barbecue Pit Stop, bbqpitstop.com.
Real quick on this struggling to tag people in the live chat, and this is just 5 minutes worth of looking around. It appears that to tag someone, it looks like they have to be a member. I'm not sure, though. This is something I'll have to look into. But it appears that functionality may be a members only thing. I'm not sure, though.
Jordan Wheeler says, I enjoy the show, but it's clickbaity as hell. Okay, well, we gave you the exact thumbnail. We gave you the exact story right off the thumbnail at 7 o'clock. Go back and watch it, man. And by the way, you're welcome to be here. But if it's too clickbaity for you, there's others. I mean, help yourself. Like, there's a reason that you keep coming back here and complaining it's clickbaity.
Yeah.
We must be doing something right.
It's not that I dislike you. I don't. But I just think it's funny that you roll up in here 2 hours late every day and say that it's clickbait.
Yeah, I agree. Louis Capazzo says, Jake, you can tag on desktop. You can, I think, tag on desktop.
Okay, so it's a desktop thing.
Yeah,
okay.
I agree with that. Anthony Kobe says, LeBron the victim. Come on, guys. The dude has been gifted more superstar calls and no calls than anybody in the last 15 years. Horrible missed call, but nothing more. It's not just the one missed call.
Yeah.
Like, this is what I've been talking about.
I mean,
now.
we've been through it, right? Like, it's not
just the one call
it's
anymore.
It's not just the one call.
It isn't.
Yeah.
No, here's how you tag people. You put an @ and you see, look at Lope Fan Gabe's comment. Hello?
Yeah.
Like, you can't highlight somebody's name unless you're on desktop. Lopes Fan Gabe says, Lewis, respectfully disagree. There's a role of good coaches set the expectation and hold a standard of competition for the team. Youth coaches not doing that are missing it. Don't even get me started on that. Don't even get me started on that. You know. Tanner or Brent says Tamer just clickbaited his own name. Okay.
Well done, Brian. I appreciate you, bro.
Kay Nurin says the NBA needs to clean up its calling. The officiating in the NBA this year is as bad as I can ever remember it.
And again, for all of you guys hating on Braun or whatever, it's not, like, again, my opinion is it's not a Braun issue, right?
It's like, an NBA-wide. Yeah.
Like, Braun has just been the most recent victim.
But why is this such a big deal? Because we've set up a culture in the NBA where it's okay to complain about officiating.
Well, that's spot on.
Where the players flop and guys complain and every call's the wrong call. Like, my name is Luca. I'm telling you, it's got to be balls and strikes. If you complain about officiating, they have the right to eject you.
Yeah.
That would stop that. Because you can't have guys getting ejected. You just can't do it. And people don't want to do it. Jordan Wheeler says, I'm fine with the clickbait. That's why I'm here.
Okay, well, I respect you for owning it.
Great. How do we, Brent says we love Super Soaker. Ron Nolan says that would be great click page. Love Britton Covey. I remember when he was little running around at the Franklin Covey Field. Ron, I don't know what your bone for Britton Covey has been today, but
Yeah.
Tom, good morning to you. I'm fine watching Bron and the Lakers lose on a missed call.
Well, but see, this is my point. See, this is the point I was making precisely, right? The missed call in some ways could have been good for the league if it wasn't Bron. But this is why you need to blow the whistle one way or the other. Put his ass at the line. If he misses and doesn't win the game, it's great for the league. If he makes it and wins the game, it's great for the league. Blow the whistle, dude. It's a business proposition. Just do it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.